What's going on, everybody? This is Dude. Today we're going to be doing a playthrough of my first homebrew game for Game Boy called Ninja Nick. So this game is dedicated to my brother who unfortunately passed away a while ago. But I'll talk more about that as we go through the game. So this is my first homebrew game. It was made with GB Studio. And my purpose for playing through today is to give you some insights on the game, what I learned, and tell you a little bit about the game if you're interested in playing it. So I already did some tongue-in-cheek stuff here with ad, which is not typical for a Game Boy game, of course, but I was just really excited to make a game after I saw it on a podcast where there's a really simple program called GB Studio to make Game Boy games, and I was just really excited. So I was just coming up with all kinds of ideas, so this game was made pretty quickly. I think it was a couple weeks, but there's a whole bunch of random things in here that I'll talk about as we play through it. Alright, let's go. Alright, so as I said, this is made with GB Studio. One thing to note throughout the playthrough here is I forgot that you're allowed to use the dark green color in the background for GB Studio. So with GB Studio, there's 4 colors on that palette for the backgrounds, and I forgot to use the dark green. I wasn't paying attention. So this game's kind of light, as the whole game only uses the three colors for sprites, but I made it more challenging and more fun to So a little bit about me. I'm an engineer. There's main conflict here is engineering related, utility related here. So got some construction workers obviously we're talking to that we're going to be working with. Some of my favorite Game Boy games were definitely Pokemon and Zelda. So you'll see the town here. It's pretty close resemblance to a Pokemon style town, but we've got our issue here. Main character is up here in this underground room with some pipes. So as I said, I'm an engineer, got some experience with construction, so these are some of the main characters in the story here. So this is the first guy you talk to, the supervisor. When I first started developing the game, I was just relying on the player to tell the truth about whether they found these plans and specs. So, of course, I learned how to use variables and ensure that the game actually checked to see if you had found the plans and specifications for the piping system. So, first thing I learned there was about variables and how to use them here in the game to kind of force progression for the player. So once again, my background is not looking very good because I forgot about the colors that you're able to use. So I kind of limited myself a lot when I made this background. So the last word we were given here is to find some plans and specifications for the piping system. So check out the library here. So another thing I've learned since I made this game is the height of this text bar is really something you want to control within GB Studio. So you can see here, you can't see any of the players. So try to keep that 2 or 3 lines now when I make games. But as I was making my first game here, I was just kind of text box crazy, and pretty much everything's in a text box for the player to figure out. So there is a little twist at the end of this game. Let's see if you can pick up on it before I tell you what it is. So just keep an eye out for weird things, weird dialogue throughout the game, but you'll find out at the end what the twist is. So just to make it clear, seltzer water has been turned off to this town. So my main man, Ninja Nick here, is going to help get this problem solved. So as I said, his games got dedicated to my brother. He was in karate, so that's how I came up with the idea of Ninja Nick for the game. We definitely played Game Boy games together a lot, so I wanted to do something cool for the first game that I made, something cool for him, and that's kind of how I came up with the name. And then, as I said, I was so excited to make a game that I just kind of went a little wild with my idea. So, you know, there's just all things that I like seltzer water, engineering. You know, I wear Crocs, so the main villain in this thing is going to be crocodiles, just kind of silly. But that's just kind of how the game came to be. I was just super excited to make a game, and I was coming out with all kinds of ideas to have something to go off of. So we have the plans and specs now. We're going to go back to Buddy over here. Talk to the brother. Yes. So DPW is the Department of Public Works, where all this dude's buddies are hanging out. Okay, let's find the superintendent. Alright, there he is. So I won't go into too many specifics, but the guys that work here are kind of slackers. One of my previous jobs, we were in charge of construction and engineering for a facility, but we had some lackluster people, so kind of incorporated that into this group here. These construction workers are kind of lackluster, and you'll find out that the reason for this mishap is they're kind of aloof, so that's how the seltzer water got turned off. So this dialogue here, it's kind of a joke. At my old job, we would always say, "Oh, we have a project coming up to fix that," but it's not really accurate. We just say that. All right, so I got two conflicting things I need to do here. Either report to the police or the mayor's office. I think I'm going to go to the police first. That's what they told me to do. You've seen Dodgeball, you know that line right there. I call those keepers. One of my favorite movies. Alright, so another thing I learned here, this is in GB Studio, you can pick what kind of game you're making. So if you're using top-down 2D, that's what we've been in. But I wanted to do this kind of zoomed in thing, and this scene is also a top-down 2D because I did not know how to use point and click. So this scene is not really optimized. It's really just the hand is really a player that's kind of walking around what's supposed to be a top-down scene, and it doesn't really work. If it was point and click, it would have been more interactive for the player. But these are the evidence lockers, and what I mean by the interactive part is you see you kind of have to be right in the exact area to get these dialog boxes to come up. So we found some seltzer water, aka spicy H2O here. Yeah, let's take a drink. So another thing I incorporated into the game is going to the gym. like I said, I wear Crocs, so the villains here are crocodiles, and then for whatever reason I decided to ensure that the head of all the crocodiles was super jacked. So I made this crazy pixel art to show that this dude could move weight. So our hero got sick from drinking some seltzer water that he wasn't supposed to, so he's kind of in a dream state right now. There's some other things going on in the game. This is another scene that should have been a point and click, but it's top down. No big deal. But you really, to make it better for the player, you would have to make it point and click, I think, would be best. So these people are real upset about their seltzer water. I can't blame them. Just a little news broadcast here, trying to tell the player a little bit more about what's going on. Yeah, so they're real distraught about drinking plain water. So back awake. So while we go through this, the game's really just about forced progression and talking to different people. I really didn't know how to do a lot with sprites and variables. I definitely didn't know how to use math functions at this point. I just wanted to make a game pretty badly, and I was just ready to get this story out. And I was trying to be kind of funny at the same time. Maybe some of the jokes I only understand are inside jokes with other people, but that's pretty much what was my mindset for this game. So what I was trying to do with this seltzer water headquarters here was trying to show that it was kind of evil or different than all the other buildings. So it's kind of dark, as dark as I could get it without using that dark green that I forgot about, that I talked about earlier. But that was the intent behind that building. Okay, we need to go talk to the guard in front of City Hall. Alright, so kind of risky for the police to just let some random ninja help them out, but he's making more progress than the police and the construction workers, right? Alright, so now he's told me I have access to more buildings, so let's check this out. This cop's sleeping. So this part's kind of dropping hints to the twist. I'll still keep that a secret until we get to the end. This guy kind of doesn't want to be bothered. Always read the terms and conditions. That's another inside joke I was trying to put in there. That contributes to the twist as well. Let's see, where do we want to go next? All right, so one thing I was being super ambitious about, and I told you guys I like Zelda earlier, was that I really wanted this ninja to be able to swing a sword. So I looked that up on YouTube. It wasn't too hard, but just the ideas were just flying, and I just wanted to do that. So he's got this ability now that he picked up a sword. You'll see if you had tried to go into the manhole with the other police officer, he would have said, "Hey, you need to be armed before you go in here." So that that's kind of a forced progression thing. And then yeah, I just randomly wanted to put a gym in here, like I said. There's really not a whole big purpose to this room other than the lieutenant calls you back. So he wants us to come back to City Hall. Alright, so somehow these guys don't really know who Ninja Nick is or how he got here, but now he's up here in the mayor's office solving huge problems. So Nile is the jacked crocodile. Rabid Crocs have this engineer held hostage. There we go. Little clues for the player. Nile is definitely armed. You see him lifting his weights. Alright, so the mayor has officially sent us to take care of this. Which is good. So one theme as well I liked in this was, I remember in Zelda Oracle of Seasons there was a couple places you had to get into by swimming or going underground. So I took some inspiration from that. Like the police kind of have the front of this building locked up. Go down this manhole again. You can get in there. So once again, I was just crazy with the ideas and really wanted to just make some random platformer level without really knowing some of the limitations of GB Studio. Like I knew I could double jump, but the coding here is really quirky because if you run into someone in platformer with just the normal GB Studio, you kind of go right through them. I can't even play my own platform level. It's embarrassing. But anyway, I was just like, I need to have a platformer, and he needs to hit him with this sword. So the coding here is kind of weird, where I just had it where if they collided, I had him swing the sword, and the Crocs just kind of got hit. Now I just did it again. So I've gotten a little bit better with platformers since then. I was really confused when I first did this because it wasn't super obvious, and I didn't know to go on Reddit and figure that out. But I have since figured out some of the limitations of this platformer level. But anyway, I thought the platformer portion was cool. Not really necessary, but as I said, I like that inspiration from Zelda where you had to go underground or swim. He wants to know, do you wear Crocs? Alright, so twist is coming up. Basically, I wanted to have a twist. I always just like twists, and then, like I said, my ideas were just going wild again. But we used to have another joke at my job, my old job, that the place was set up as a movie set, and the people just never left because no one seemed to ever get anything done. So that's what happened here. Ninja Nick's supposedly auditioning for a movie here, so that's why the one guy was complaining that someone wasn't sticking to the script. So that was a little bit of a hint there, but everyone's praising Ninja Nick. You know, he's got the smart skills and determination of a hero. It's great. So they're offering him a contract for Ninja Nick into the crock pot. But, I'm gonna do a follow-up movie. Sign the contract. You didn't even read it. You didn't even read the terms and conditions. How many times? Alright guys, so that's really Ninja Nick. I want to do a quick playthrough, explain some of the dedications behind it, as well as how to play. Hope you liked it. Leave a comment if you want to know anything more about the game. Thanks for watching.